Please be seated. I'd like to also thank our very special guests that are on stage that will be speaking this evening. Speaking to the theme of this evening, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba. Welcome. The acting CEO of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation, Razan Bailey. Chair of the Board of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation and CEO of Artscape, Marlene Leroux. My name is Claire Mawisa and I'll be your program director for this evening. I would also like to acknowledge special guests that are present here this evening. Honorable Ministers, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Premier of the Western Cape, Helen Zille, Executive Mayor of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille, the Diplomatic Corps and Consulates, 2011 Nobel Peace Prize Laureate, Leymah Gbowee, the Tutu family members, welcome. To the media covering this event and to the public who bought tickets to come through, all of you are esteemed guests, welcome. All protocol is observed. This annual Peace Lecture is an African platform for dialogue on social and humanitarian issues that affect us locally, on the continent, and globally. The intention is to continue conversations that have been led by Desmond Tutu to forge peace and reconciliation. Ladies and gentlemen, to those who are tweeting and sharing tonight's contents online, make sure you use our hashtag #TutuPeace. I know some of you in the audience will also be tweeting. Right now, I'd like to welcome the Cape Town Opera Chorus and Youth at Work for the national anthem. If everyone could please stand.
Sisi
Thank you very much to the Cape Town Opera Chorus. Youth at Work is a program that is run by the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation that gives youth between the ages of 17 and 20 an opportunity to develop their personal and professional skills. The Youth at Work participants have produced a special piece in tribute to Desmond Tutu. We all know that he celebrated his birthday yesterday with another South African icon, myself. Youth at Work, ladies and gentlemen, will now sing happy birthday to Desmond Tutu. So when you are moved by the Spirit, please join in, and they will also perform their own production just after that. Youth at Work, please take to the stage.
whom it may concern, I have come to a conclusion to write this to you. I know these words are not brand new, but they come deep down from the heart. You've allowed a cocoon to burst into a beautiful butterfly. The world took our skins away. We were left dry bones, skeleton. You took your time and energy to resurrect our dead, damaged skills, stitched peace inside our veins, changed our perspective, made us believe that the sun will rise again, they say. They say life never allows any of us to get lost forever. And even the deepest wound sooner or later will become just a scar. You are the pillars of my soul, descendant from greatest. When you arrive, children smile, lost souls rejoice, for they know they are saved now. I have no words to say, but this was just a letter to say thank you. Love the world.
Seeing you was just a dream, now it came true. I don't know how to say it, but we're grateful. Plus, we never got a chance to say thank you. You've been preaching about peace and amnesty, and we honor you hard, Your Highness. They say life is just a joke, but we don't laugh at it. I can say that we feed now mentally. Now we know what his strength and dignity is. He didn't only gave us hope, but to give us keys to open every door, no matter how hard a locker is. We're so grateful. Your work is so fruity. I mean, it's tasteful. Just remember that we love and respect you. I swear to God, you gave us all. You are a GPS to our precious goals. And for that, Father, God bless you.
Thank you very much for those participants of the Youth at Work program that the foundation runs. Congratulations for that amazing piece. Reminding us to soak everything in our lives with gratitude. It is only appropriate to start this event with a prayer. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Naomi Tutu, who will be joining me here on stage to bless us with a prayer, to bless everyone congregated here and all the words that will be spoken this evening. Ms. Naomi Tutu.
Thank you. Good evening. And I would like to add our family's welcome to everybody here, to His Excellency, the President, to our own Arch. Thank you for being here. To all the guests, all our international guests, but especially our guests from here at home, who have been the ones who have uplifted our family during many difficult times. So, bendifuna ukuqala ngokuthi ndiyanazi ke nina abantu baseKapa niye nithi amaXhosa aseRhawutini asithethi isiXhosa sithetha isiRhawuti. Ngamathamsanqa ke uThixo uyasiva nesiRhawuti. Ndicela sithandazeni. Thixo bawo wethu sicela usikelele njengoba sidibene apha. Sicela usenze ukuthi singabi njengalama profita abethethwa nguHezekile. Besithi uxolo uxolo kanti uxolo lungekho. Sicela usikhumbuze uba apha kweli lizwi lethu kukhona abantwana abangena sikolo or abaya esikolweni bangena zidesk, bangena zincwadi, bangenootisher. Re a tseba hore bomme ba rona ba robala dipetlele ho sena meriana, ho sena dingaka. Re a tseba hore bontatemoholo ba rona le bonkgono ba rona ba dula ba tshohile ba tshaba bana ba bona le ditloholo tsa bona. We know that our sisters, our mothers, our daughters are not able to walk safely in our own country, that they live in fear even in their own homes. So Lord, we come today asking you to bless the words that we will hear and also to bless us, so that singabi abo abati thuma mina ngomlomo nje qha marisibonise uba sifuna ukuthunywa nangezenzo zethu. All this we ask in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Now I'd like to welcome Marlene Leroux, who is not only the chair of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation, but who is also playing host this evening as she is the CEO of Artscape. She is perfectly placed to give context for this evening, as she has walked a long road spanning decades with Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for Marlene.
Mr. President, actually, a person just wants to sing by singing, to Mamina, to Mamina, to Mamina, ikosia, to Mamina, to Mamina, to Mamina, to Mamina, ikosia. And this is what tonight is all about, our Excellence, our President, and also archbishops, all the archbishops that is here, and the Arch and Auntie Leah that is watching tonight. You walk the talk. And this is what we want to say thank you to. First, all of us congratulate the Arch his 87th birthday. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that he's still here with us. We thank God for his life, together with the representatives of our faith communities. Mr. President, it was our faith communities during the dark hours of apartheid that kept us together, that spoke the truth, and that wasn't afraid to march and to walk the talk in their churches. So today, it's also a special thank you to interfaith community from all walks of life. Whether it's Muslim, Judaism, all of us has walked the street. Am I correct, Archbishop Mahoba? So it's again that time. The Tutu family members that is here, thank you so much for being here. This is your father's legacy. It's a team. If the team is here, the board members of the foundation, Nikki, if Nikki can just wave somewhere, if the house lights can just come up, because it's an excellent board that the Arch has appointed. Zandile, where you are watching, blessings on your wonderful child. She just gave birth to a boy. We have Colin Moses, we have David Schmidt, we have Naren Naidu and Deresh Ramkles. Is Nikki here? Is Nikki here? I hope Nikki's here. And His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, Archbishop, and of course, Auntie Leo's the love of art's life. This is the 8th Desmond Tutu Peace Lecture, hosted by the Desmond and Leah Tutu Foundation, Legacy Foundation. And thank you for the support of all the Arch's children for this particular legacy that can be in a foundation. We also want to say, tonight we also, Mr. President, commemorate Tata Madiba, and also the honorable and very dignified Mother Albertina Sisulu. And I think they also deserve a hand with the Archbishop and Auntie Leah. As a nation, and I want to end off, as a nation we are also blessed with the honorable and humanitarian leadership of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. He stands for freedom of speech, human dignity, and respect for others. However, at this point in time of our beloved country, we as a nation need to embark on a journey from brutality to hope. Hope that must be put into action, which can bring about not only the healing of memories, but social justice. We need to be active citizens with the understanding that our Constitution is a consultative document to give guidance to everybody. So, Mr. President, Archbishop Tutu specifically has asked, let's walk and not just the talk on social justice, and to give life to our aspirations as a nation. A special thanks to our guests who civil society organizations. We want to thank you as a nation, because on a daily basis, you do the honorable work to ensure that the principles of human rights are recognized and protected on all levels of society, sometimes without recognition. And where you are, experience this lecture in front of your television. We want to thank you, and who are in the audience, just give yourself a hand, because it's not an easy task. Mr. President, the foundation would like to take hands with you and with everybody here tonight to endeavor to capture the principles through guiding and promoting the legacy of what the art stands for in order for us as a nation to achieve our humanity. Apartheid dehumanized everybody. We now need to actively embark on this journey. And the first that we started to embark on, we took hands with the Mayor, Patricia de Lille. If she's here, I think she needs a hand. For having the vision to partner with the foundation on developing the historic granary building as a space that will be used to house the archives of the Arch and continue his humanitarian beliefs to be part of the world's journey for global peace. And the precinct is part of the District 6 Museum as well. And it's part of that we must never forget how we as a nation has been dehumanized, and we now need to come onto our own. A big thank you also for Ravi Naidu, Cheryl Carousel, Carolus for initiating the Arch for the Arch at the entrance of the company garden, an artwork that reminds our nation of the pillars of our Constitution. People gave their lives so that our nation can embark on a journey towards understanding democracy. Democracy is a journey towards understand humanity. A special thanks, Tandi's here, Mtunzi, Trevor, Nutombi, Mpo. Thank you for sharing your parents with the nation. We have sponsors, which is the Dutch Lottery and the H&M Foundation, that gives Razan, that's so competently leading these young people, because our country can just rise with young people that will lead with dignity, respect, and with humaneness. You don't become humane only overnight. It starts from a very early age in our households. The previous board member who is here tonight, Professor Pumla Madigizela, thank you very much for also walking this path with us. Our previous CEO, Mpo, is also here. Mpo, thank you very much for leading the foundation also through where we are now today. The University of the Western Cape was always partnered with the foundation. And then the wonderful staff of the foundation. Mr. President, it gives me big joy and humility to introduce you, because you know the people of South Africa. Not just the people of South Africa, Africa. Because we are part of Africa. And we need, as Africans, we need to lead by example. And we need to be accountable to our people. And accountability is not for us standing only with a finger, but it's to become active citizens and to help our president to lead our country and to embark on active citizens with dignity, respect, and giving our citizens the tools. I will repeat, the tools, so that we can embark on dialogue and not just burning our streets. So, our president, our leader, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Program Director, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, watching where you are right now, Mama Lea Tutu, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, members of the Tutu family, and leaders of the Desmond and Lea Tutu Legacy Foundation, the Premier of the Western Cape, the Mayor of Cape Town, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, and fellow South Africans. Marlene, if I knew that you sing so well, and particularly when it comes to Tumamina, I should have asked you to, as I was delivering the State of the Nation address, just at that point when I referred to Hugh Masekela's song, I should have asked you to come and sing it, because Julius Malema, sitting in the audience, obviously in his parliamentary seat, if some of you heard him, as soon as I mentioned this song, he said, "Sing it." And he repeated it twice. He said, "Sing it." I was tempted to sing it, but I thought wise not to, on his instruction, that is. But if I had known that you could sing, I would have asked you to sing it for me. So thank you very much, Malini. It really is a great honor and a great privilege to be given this opportunity to deliver this 8th annual Desmond Tutu International Peace Lecture. Since the inception of this lecture, it has served as a platform for robust engagement on the struggle that we must all continue to wage for a more humane and a kind and just world. Precisely the values that Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has always stood for. Allow me to express my sincere gratitude and that of all South Africans to Archbishop Desmond Tutu for a lifetime that has been spent in the service of peace, understanding, and social justice. If there is any South African who has spent his entire life just talking about peace and social justice, I know no other than Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. So we thank him for that. So yesterday, as the Arch celebrated his 87th birthday, together with our icon here, we marveled at the generosity of spirit, the strength of character, and the love of humanity that he has exuded for as long as many of us, if not all of us, have known him. This lecture on peace, named in the honor of the Arch, is taking place exactly 2 weeks after the United Nations held a Nelson Mandela Peace Summit at its annual General Assembly. And this was a peace summit in which more than 100 heads of government and heads of state participated in honor of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. At the end of the debate, they declared that the next decade, starting from this year, would be the Nelson Mandela Decade of Peace. This is a real honor for us as South Africans. This is an honor not only for Nelson Mandela, but also for the work that the 2 Nobel laureates, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu, born out of our great and beautiful country, have done for the cause of peace for humanity as a whole. And we thank them deeply for the work they have done. Now, this is work that should fill us with enormous pride as South Africans, not arrogance. It should fill us with great humility, not pomposity as a nation. As South Africans, we are privileged to be associated with those 2 global icons, including one here as well, sitting here, whose extraordinary struggles earned them international recognition, but it earned them international recognition as torchbearers along humanity's arduous and difficult journey towards lasting peace and stability for the people of this whole world. Former President Nelson Mandela and Emeritus Archbishop Desmond Tutu have been beacons of hope, not only for South Africans struggling under the yoke of racial oppression, but also to the billions of many other people across the world who yearn for a future that is peaceful and stable. To advance peace, we need to appreciate that at no stage in human development have people been engaged in conflict without cause. Conflict is not the natural human state. It is the product of a set of social, political, cultural, and at times also religious circumstances that pits a brother against a brother, and admittedly, to a lesser extent, a sister against a sister. If we can address those circumstances that cause war, we reduce the potential for discord and ultimately create the conditions for the end of conflict. This was one of the central themes that emerged during the United Nations debate that led finally to the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit Declaration, where heads of state argued that conflict and hostility mainly have their roots in poverty, in exclusion, and marginalization. We said that peace is not possible in an unequal world. Peace would be eminently possible in a world where we have equality. And no society can be at peace unless all its people have equal rights, equal opportunities, and equal quality of life. As South Africans, we know that peace is not merely the absence of war, but also the absence of injustice. There are still millions in our society who live in poverty, who are socially excluded and economically marginalized, right here in our own country. We cannot speak of true freedom when the constitutionally guaranteed rights to quality health care, to quality education, to decent housing, and to clean environment continue not to be enjoyed by many South Africans. We cannot speak of true freedom when 10% of the population has more wealth than the remaining 90% combined, when women are discriminated against in their workplace and are abused in their homes, and when privilege and poverty follow the same racial contours of our colonial past. We will not be able to say we have achieved freedom for all our people until we have corrected the historical injustice of accumulation by a minority on the basis of dispossession of the majority. Until we do that, until we build a South Africa in which the wealth is shared amongst the people and the land is shared among all those who work it, we will not be able to realize lasting peace, nor will we have the type of stability that can yield the best life. It is nearly 25 years since we embarked upon this part of our long journey to peace and to freedom. Having brought an end to the heinous crime of apartheid, we set out to put right the wrongs of the past and to build a new society. An essential part of that journey was the search for truth and reconciliation. which found its manifestation in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission under the leadership, the very able leadership of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. It was rooted in the understanding that there would be no peace in our land without justice. The TRC was itself a key instrument of justice in a country that was in transition, a country that was in motion from a past of human rights violation to democracy. The TRC required that the perpetrators of gross human rights abuses to account for their actions, but it also provided them with an opportunity to recognize the humanity of their victims and exposed to them the myth of racial superiority. Burnt into our collective memory are the images of how distressed Archbishop Desmond Tutu was as he heard the evidence of the horrors and atrocities meted out against our people by agents of a murderous system that was entirely based on the false hierarchy of races. Those images serve as a reminder that while our democratic government has done a lot to advance justice for our people, since the TRC completed its work some 20 years ago, the trauma of apartheid, but also its very dark shadow, lingers on in the daily lives of many of our people. This is the trauma and the dark shadow, not of torture. It is not the trauma of detention, of death squad, but it continues to be the trauma and the dark shadow of hunger, of homelessness, of illness, illiteracy, and unemployment. There are none who have seen the conditions which so many South Africans live, who could deny that the deliberate impoverishment of black people in our country is itself a gross violation of human rights. It is for this reason that our efforts to radically transform the South African economy and to make it a lot more inclusive and to make it more of an economy that could be shared by all. All these efforts are located in the context of the restorative justice that defines the work of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and which he also addressed at the TRC and beyond. In this sense, the process of truth and reconciliation will not be complete until we have acknowledged the economic and social injustices of the past and also taken steps to correct them so that the steps that we take can pave a much better future for all our people. This is a responsibility that falls both on those who have been the beneficiaries of racial privilege and those who have suffered its debilitating effects. In this task, we are joined together. And each time I say that those who have benefited immensely from the system of the past have a responsibility to stand up and be counted, many start shying away and hiding in some dark corners. And today I want to repeat that it is our joint responsibility to correct the wrongs of the past as South Africans working together and doing this collectively as a nation. We have a shared interest in the fundamental transformation of our economy and our society. It cannot be done by one section of our economy, of our country alone. It has to be a joint effort. We have a shared interest in significantly and urgently reducing inequality and discrimination in all forms and manifestations. We need to reduce the massive disparity in income and opportunity in South Africa, particularly between black and white, and also between men and women. This requires nothing short of a skills revolution in which inclusive, accessible, and relevant education produces quality outcomes. It is essential that alongside a skills revolution, we draw millions more young South Africans into the productive economy of our country through work. Last week, the social partners that we have in our country, organized as labor, organized as business and community organizations, and indeed as well as government, convened a jobs summit, which was the culmination of several months of deliberation on measures to accelerate job creation. It was a clear signal from all these four social partners of the determination that they have as labor, business, community, and government to put aside all differences and to decide to work together to build a social compact to create jobs. They decided on a number of measures and interventions which, when effectively and timeously implemented, will almost double the number of jobs that we are able to create as an economy every year. They decided that they are going to take the bull by the horns and make sure that they address this national crisis that we are going through of joblessness. Alongside the work being done by the social partners to generate employment, it is essential that our economy expands and that we are able to mobilize far greater levels of productive investment. It is important, therefore, that we ensure that new investment is directed towards meaningful job creation, that local labor is prioritized as these investments are spread throughout our country, that emerging black and women entrepreneurs are empowered and communities ultimately benefit. The dispossession of black people of their land manifested itself in a violent manner, completely bereft of any notions of peace. Apartheid ensured that it stripped black people, Africans, coloreds, and Indians of their land and their assets, impoverishing families for generations and robbing them of their dignity. The evictions of farm workers, especially here in the Western Cape, unfortunately continue to this day, and they are a blight on our efforts to make sure that there is peace as well. It is therefore vital, if we are to restore the dignity of our people and break the cycle of poverty, that we address the land question so that there can be peace and prosperity for all and amongst our people collectively as a whole. Now, the taking of land from our people was not a peaceful process. It introduced violence, militating against precisely what the Arch has always sought to see happening in his life. And if we address this question, we will be able to have a chance also to heal the wounds of the past. It is in this context that we must understand the drive to accelerate land reform through redistribution, restitution, and tenure security for all South Africans and not just for a few South Africans, which has been the case in the past. Now, this issue of land has reared its head in a way where some people think that it has been manufactured by politicians and by political parties. No, its time had come. Our people want their freedom to have meaning. And for their freedom to have meaning, that important asset which is land, which is an economic instrument, needs to be restored to the hands of our people so that they can improve their lives. So it is in the interest of both social justice and economic development that we ensure that the land is shared amongst all those who work it and all those who need it. The drafters of the Freedom Charter were right, because the land having been taken from our people and given to a minority, in 1955, in their great visionary and foresightful wisdom, they said, all we ever want is that the land must be shared among those who work it and those who need it. They need it now, and let's make it available. Effective land reform, where emerging farmers are provided with adequate support and poor households receive well-located land for housing in urban areas, is both a moral as well as an economic imperative that will enhance the peace project. One writer wrote recently that we've got some 200,000 emerging farmers who are mostly black, who are in need of land. And he says that is the cohort that we initially need to focus on to make sure that these 200,000 emerging farmers, and they are lodged and located in the various communities throughout our country. Those are the 200,000 farmers who are yearning for the land to be shared because they are the ones who work the land. And we want to focus on them. And we are going to make sure that they have land that they can work to participate in the economic value chain of our country, and they look after their households, and their children. Their time has come, and we will do it. This asset unleashes great economic potential, not only of the land, but also of the people who work it and live on it. In our search for a just and equal society, we also need to fundamentally transform the gender relations in our country. We cannot have a free society. We cannot have a peaceful world for as long as women are discriminated against, exploited, neglected, and abused. That cannot happen. We cannot tolerate the social norms and cultural practices that diminish in any way the equal rights and equal worth of the women of our country. That cannot be. This requires a change of attitude and consciousness, a social movement that reaches into every home, into every classroom, into every workplace, and every relationship. It requires policies and programs to ensure that every girl child attends school and has every opportunity to excel and to succeed, that there are no impediments for young women in our country to complete their schooling and to go on to higher education or training. That is what is important. It also means that every institution from a government department to a company to university should actively work to prevent gender bias, no matter how subtle or apparently inconsequential it might seem to be. We need to rid our country of gender bias because it should not belong to South Africa. We cannot have a peaceful society, fellow South Africans, for as long as women are physically, verbally, and emotionally abused because of their gender. They are easily the majority population in our country. Why do we want to suppress them? That should not be, and that should come to an end. The struggle to end gender-based violence must occupy all South Africans, since it is fundamental to our self-worth as individuals as well as a collective. It is fundamental to our vision of a society in which all have equal rights and an equal expectation of being able to exercise those rights. It is for this reason that we cannot tolerate discrimination against any person on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity. The violation of the rights and equal worth of lesbians, of gay people, bisexual, transgender, or intersex people demeans our common humanity as South Africans. Not only does it expose individuals to pain, suffering, and even violence, but it often limits access to social services and economic activities for LGBTI people in our country. It is not possible to build a just and equal society in such circumstances. It is our responsibility as a nation to dedicate every moment to eradicating all forms of racism, of sexism, of tribalism, homophobia, and other intolerances. Throughout his life, the Arch has been a soldier for peace. While we tend to speak about peace as a condition between nations or across a society as a whole, we often do not pay attention to peace in individual communities and in the lives of the individual citizen who make up such communities. In this regard, I want to express appreciation and gratitude for the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation for the work, excellent work that it continues to do amongst ordinary people to secure peace in communities that are affected by many social ills, especially criminal violence. We remain very concerned about the scourge of violent crime in many communities across our country. This is an issue that calls for communities to come together and for religious, political, and social formations, as well as the South African Police Service, to work jointly to end the bloodshed, the tears, and the economic hardships that visits every family that loses its loved ones. We must do more to reverse the impact of apartheid urban spatial design on our social fabric. We also have to recenter our moral compass and ask ourselves as individuals, as well as families, what we can do to improve our own lives and the lives of others in our community. We welcome communities that speak out and take to the streets when the need arises to declare that they will not be terrorized into silence by the criminals who are roaming our streets and shooting people at random. We also commend communities that have taken action against social problems such as teenage pregnancy, substance abuse, domestic violence, gangsterism, and organized crime. Inspired by Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, who has dedicated his life to securing a better future for all, let us work together as government, as labor, as communities to bring peace to the streets of our country and to the homes in our communities. From Bonteheerville and Kensington to Westbury and West Dean, we need a social and moral regeneration that ends the violence of crime, the violence of poverty, and the violence of despair. As we carry forward the legacy of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu of building a nation that is truly at peace with itself and the world, we need voices like his to remind us of our constitutional obligation to build a united, non-racial, and non-sexist society. We have vivid memories of the Arch in his robes of service during his time on the streets of Soweto, downtown Johannesburg, Cape Town, Atlanta, London, and many other places. Those visions are still very much fresh in the minds of many of us. He coined the term Rainbow Nation not out of sentiment, but out of experience, and out of the expectation that our nation would become one and remain one in perpetuity. Let us continue building the unity of our nation, conscious always of the fact that there will be no peace without equality and no reconciliation without justice. I want to conclude by suggesting that in honor of the outstanding work that Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has contributed in raising our consciousness as a people and as a nation about peace, we should develop what I would call a doctrine of peace that should guide us so that we can acquire and give full meaning to what peace should really mean in our own country and indeed in the world. Peace should be about justice and fairness. And that is part of the doctrine of peace that I suggest. Peace should be about respecting the human rights of every human being. Peace should be about equal opportunity to develop as a human being. Peace should be about work, yes, work. It should also be about ensuring that there is work and fair wages for those who work. Peace should be about bringing an end to poverty, to hunger and inequality. Peace should also be about ensuring that there is housing for all, that there will be peace when there is universal health coverage for all. It should also be about the guns of war being silenced for good and forever. Yes, it should also be about having the freedom to speak, the freedom to worship, and the freedom of religion. That in itself is peace. Peace should be also about gender equality in every respect. Peace should be about women not being abused and children also not being abused. Peace should also be about the youth of our country and indeed our continent being empowered. But also importantly, peace should be about accepting the diversity of humanity and being tolerant of others in terms of how they live their lives, in terms of how they look, in terms of what language they speak, and in terms of how they behave. Peace should also be about the harmonious coexistence between people. It should also be about developing skills, the skills of all our people, and it should also be about the freedom to be, for every one of us to be what they want to be. In the end, peace should be our goal, just as it has been a lifelong goal to the Arch. Archbishop Desmond Tutu made peace his main mission in life, and he made it his goal. And this too should translate to us. We should make it our goal. But peace should also be about allowing people to have their own stories, to have their own thoughts, to have their own ideas, to have their own lifestyle, to have their own lives, and that they should be allowed to live their lives as they wish. And in this regard, we should keep trying to find peace. We should keep trying to build peace, just as the Arch has done throughout his life. And in this regard, we thank him deeply for having been so committed to the project of peace, for having throughout his life to ensure that he will spread the message of peace. And Arch, as you are watching, I thank you deeply that even in your retirement, you have continued to preach love and peace, and you've continued to build our nation based on those important values. Thank you very much, Arch. Thank you.
So, Mr. President, I just want to say that it's been a great honor that you could be here tonight and deliver the 8th annual Desmond Tutu International Peace Lecture. When we asked the Archbishop who he wants as a speaker, he mentioned only one name, yours. So we were really happy that you were able to accept, that you could be here. I think Father knew that you would do great justice to this notion of peace and what it means to be a peaceful society. So I want to say, we hear you and Rea Leboga. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
When the Arch raised the issue of me coming here, he didn't give me any choice. He said, you have to do it, otherwise I will not pray for you. So I yearn for his prayers every day. That's why I am here. Thank you very much, Arch.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. The President does have another engagement, so we're going to have to bid him farewell. Thank you so much for making time in your busy schedule. Thank you very much. His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. I think what was quite profound is the fact that the President did ask us to interrogate our understanding of what peace is and for us to deepen our understanding of what peace is. He did say that the Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu didn't give him a choice to speak this evening, but when the President makes a suggestion about the doctrine of peace, who does he make that suggestion to? Because I don't think we have a choice either. Awkward position he has put us in. I'd like to welcome the acting CEO of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation, Razan Bailey, just to give a vote of thanks.
Good evening. Okay. To all our esteemed guests, it's been an honor to welcome you this evening in celebrating our co-founder, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. Father, we know that you are watching, so I really hope that we have done you proud tonight. This year has been a year of change. The foundation has recently taken up its official residence at the Granary building. This move provides us with a platform from which we can continue our mandate to amplify the legacy of our founders, Archbishop Tutu and Mama Leah Tutu. To you, to both of you, and to the entire Tutu family, let me express or add my profound thanks for entrusting us to do the work that is so necessary in this country, but also in the entire world. And so clear, I think part of that doctrine of peace and that challenge is probably directed towards us and everybody who partners and works with us and shares that same goal. One of our key purposes of moving into the granary is to actually use this space to engage the public and like-minded organizations in partnerships that promotes a culture of Ubuntu, peace, forgiveness, and reconciliation. In the near future, we will activate this space as a global space for dialogue, conflict resolution, and restorative justice. Our Youth at Work program, our young people who are up here today, and all the others, this program continues to flourish. Since its inception in 2015, we have been doing our little bit to contribute towards addressing the challenge of unemployment, and in particularly youth unemployment and young women who are unemployed. So we remain grateful to our donors and for sponsoring us in this program and for the belief and the faith they have in us. Today, we have a soft opening of an exhibition in his words. This exhibition will be on show for the next few months, and we hope that the public will come and view and learn more about this wonderful man that we are celebrating tonight. The exhibition is a stepping stone towards the development of a fully fledged museum. This is at our building at the Granary. The museum will showcase a unique collection of artifacts, writings, and footage that has never been seen before, shining a light on South Africa's triumph over apartheid while paying homage to an extraordinary servant leader. One of the things I'll say about while we were working through and preparing this exhibition, one of the things I was saying was the Archbishop was a visionary. If you read through some of the stuff that he wrote way back in the day, we should have listened back then already. It is really profound to be reading those things today and to be looking at where we are as a nation. I want to use this opportunity to thank the board of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation for your support and time. To the staff, we have taken another big step towards reaching the goal, and I thank you for the role that you are playing, because we are all part of making this foundation tick. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you will agree with me that tonight has been a really spectacular event, and it would be amiss of me to actually just go and sit down without expressing our sincere appreciation to all of those who had made this night possible. Firstly, to all of our sponsors, we are deeply thankful for your support and for the support you continue to give us in making our work a success. To the Artscape, the board, Princess Dlamini, we often spoke on email, but tonight we were able to actually meet. Thank you to you, your board, and to the Artscape, to all of the staff for this venue. But not just the venue, you are always welcoming to our approaches, and really also to the support, the production, and the artistic support that you gave us tonight. Our Youth at Work, they put together their presentation, they made the beat, but we also had the Artscape who helped them just refine it a little bit. We are aware that you also had to send your staff home early today so that there could be a security sweep through the building, so thank you very much. To Manelisi, Distill, Coca-Cola, and others who I may miss, thank you very much for your donations, as we were able to give everybody a bite or a drink of coffee as you came from work to attend tonight's lecture. To all of the production team, you guys have been really amazing. I popped in here at 10 o'clock last night, and everyone was really busy getting the space ready, from sound to lighting to the stage, putting up screens, every bit which has made tonight the experience that it has been. So thank you very much. To Chocolate Orange, who manages this event for us, thank you to Sarah and Ricky Lee for delivering another stunning event. You were still here when I left last night, and when I came back this morning, you were still here. I'm not quite sure when you actually went home. To our sign language interpreters, thank you very much for coming out tonight and for helping spread this message that was such a powerful message. To our MC, the iconic, I now have to refer to you as the iconic. Because you have just put yourself right up there now. So to the iconic Claire, you were the perfect fit for us this evening. Thank you so much for everything. And I know we mentioned that it was a birthday yesterday, but she actually came here yesterday on her birthday day, the 40th, né? Because you put it out on social media, so it's fine. Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for being here tonight. And finally, I'm not sure where he is hiding right now, but I'd like to special thank you to my colleague, Dean Jacobs. You have delivered. Dean? Eyes saying no, okay. But Dean, you have delivered as you always do, actually. And even though you thought you wouldn't see your 30th birthday, it was like, this, I won't get to my 30th with all the stress. You have done another amazing job of putting tonight together. Thank you so, so much. It is really, really deeply appreciated. And I think I have to go take my time off here and give back to the iconic Claire so that she can continue with her work.
Oh no, I got myself in trouble this time. Now for our final speaker for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you still have some energy to give a warm welcome to Archbishop Thabo Makgoba.
The Archbishop Emeritus must be laughing in hospital together with Mama Leah because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be a speaker, but the program says peace. You know, in church, after you have been fed, you've listened to the sermon and the rest of that, right at the end, there's a thing called the blessing. So my task is to do the blessing. But before I do the blessing, I also want to underscore what the President has said, the need for a doctrine of peace. And some of you may know or not know that the Tumamina theme is really the Isaiah passage. And I'm glad, unlike some of his predecessors, he didn't opt to be made a pastor, but he remains a politician that wants to serve. And Mama Leah is also celebrating her birthday on the 14th. Could we, before I do the final blessing, please stand and sing happy birthday to both Mama Leah and Emeritus once again. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear, oh dear. Happy birthday to you. Hooray. You should have said happy birthday to both of you. Please remain standing. So go into the world in peace, be of good courage, fight the good fight of faith, that you may finish your course with joy. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be amongst you and remain with you always. Amen. So go and be peace-loving. Thank you.
Weren't those words just fortifying, edifying? Thank you so much. I'd like to release our guests from the stage. So Archbishop Razan and Marlene, if you could leave the stage. The stage will now be cleared for our final performance of this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation embraces the values of Ubuntu, respect, integrity, forgiveness, and reconciliation. These are the moral compass for the work that the foundation does. And like most organizations, their success hinges on the collaboration with partners that have got similar guiding principles. So I would like to encourage all of you to find a way to build a long-lasting relationship with the foundation. Start where you are with what you can and support the initiatives that the foundation endeavors to do. And if you want to find out more about the incredible programs that they do run, please make sure that you go to tutu.org.za. Now I'd like to hand over to the Cape Town Philharmonic Orchestra and the Cape Town Opera. They have produced a special tribute for Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu for tonight, so I hope you enjoy.
Right, live from Cape Town, that was the 8th annual Desmond.
Thank you.